I guess we're checking out Pipziti's video. I just checked out one of his videos and it's now in my feed. Racist and historical accuracy. I am curious about this. I better be in this. Because I say a lot about historical accuracy and I am racist about it. I don't mind. As long as they're accurate. I could care less if there are black people or no, that there shouldn't be black people in things that don't have black people in them. But yeah.
We're Greeks from Ithaca, said the Indian. Yeah, the Indian that Alexander the Great couldn't even think of fighting with all the force in this world and had to run away with his army after his career's first mutiny. Hi guys, what I just said was only for the hateful racists and self-hating Indians who have fallen for the Indian inferiority.
Why is he holding a gun towards himself? Why is he holding a gun towards himself? This is such an uncomfortable shot, Pepziti. This is so uncomfortable. A capybara is holding the gun up to himself, or at least another capybara. It's uncomfortable.
Pretty complex propaganda. You know it's not aimed at the majority of you sweet people of Pepziti land. So the legendary filmmaker Christopher Nolan recently came up with his new masterpiece, Odyssey. And some self-proclaimed intellectuals are pooping their pants because the visionary artist didn't do the obvious. Why isn't the cast all Greek? Why does he have to make it so inclusive, so global? And their worst nightmare just came true. There's an Indian origin actor in the cast. Can you believe this? Revolutionary artist and cultural reformer from South Africa, Elon Musk, thinks Chris Nolan has lost his integrity just because he didn't do the obvious. And now the great artist has vowed to make a historically accurate version of the film with AI.
Of course.
As you can see, he has vowed to do the unthinkable, unimaginable. Speaking of which, the unthinkable and unimaginable is about to happen to Indian cinema very soon. With its most expensive movie based on one of the greatest epics of Indian civilization, Ramayana. And to my surprise, the self-proclaimed intellectuals in India have already started brutally roasting the cast and vision of the film. Something that we've already seen with you.
I didn't think Ram was badly cast. I don't think so. I think it's fine. Some people might think otherwise. I for some reason with the Sita, I thought like I was thinking long straight hair, fair skin. Like that's more what I was thinking, but it doesn't really matter.
Odyssey. The most significant and constructive criticism of the movie is that Ranbir Kapoor doesn't fit the role. Well, because of his eating habits in the past. People are just not ready to accept him as Lord Ram. And in his defense, the director of the movie, Namit Malhotra, said, and I quote, "In my mind, if people in the West don't like it, I consider that as a failure. It is meant for the world, so if you don't like it, shame on me. We should have done a better job. I'm not trying to make it to appease Indian people in India." Well, that sort of makes sense. A filmmaker's job is not to appease people. If you don't want to watch a movie as just...
I don't know how I feel about that. I would think you would want to make it as accurate as possible. I think the correct thing to say would be like, everyone has a different interpretation of what the actor, how he should look, because everyone wants to see themselves as kind of the main character. That's kind of a downside of the modern world we live in. But I don't know, saying it that's primarily for the world, I guess that does make sense too, because you want to have a culture that's digestible to everyone. And if you make it too much about, well, whatever, it just feels like there's too much of a barrier of entry. Like Bahubali, that's a barrier of entry. You need to, I don't think anyone can just watch it and enjoy it. Even though it's a good story, first you need to be a fan of like fantasy. You need to be a fan of like a bit of the magical powers. You have to include that in as well. A little bit over the top action. You have to be a fan of all that stuff. And then you have to wrap it in the shell that is like in India's lore, India's religion, India's history, that kind of stuff. You have to wrap it in all of that. So maybe this one is going to be more palatable for the West. I don't know. I mean, it looks more entertaining. It looks more verbose, but I don't know. We'll see.
It's a movie. If you're too emotionally invested in the story and you care too much about historical accuracy, then just go and read the book. A movie is supposed to be an interpretation by the filmmaker. It's his way of sharing the story with the world. But of course, not all criticism can be invalid. Like the acting can be actually off, and if you don't like the actor because of that, it makes sense. Oh, look at that horse. Is that real or CGI? Shut up. Go watch the movie first. Till the release of the movie, you will find experts from all domains in the comments. VFX, filmmaking, costume designing, makeup, acting, you name it. They will deeply analyze every little detail in the trailer. I bet if the production studios hired them, they would do a much better job than those professionals.
Why is Shurpnakha dressed like she's auditioning for Nagin 5? Why is Sita Maiya walking like she's Alia Bhatt walking on Kurmai? Why are all the mukuts on Ozempic? What's going on with this styling in Ramayana? Star Plus Play, there was a show called Mahabharat. And look at this styling, for example. Look what Draupadi wore to her wedding versus what Sita Maiya is wearing to her wedding. While Draupadi looks regal, ethereal, and godly, Sita Maiya looks like any
What? What? I would say the only difference would be the lighting. The only difference between these two would be the lighting. Look at this one. It's more well lit. Why? Because it's staged lighting where it's supposed to look more well lit. You go to the next one. It's lit to look more real, more immersive. One's lit for show. The other one's lit for cinema. This one's lit for cinema. So it's not gonna sparkle as much. I think it looks the same though. I think they look the same.
That's exactly what the director wanted to show. I think they both look elegant, regal, ethereal.
Thank you,
godly.
Pepsi.
It's a matter of perspective. It sounds more like you were already annoyed and now you're just finding out reasons.
Yeah, it's all about the lighting in this aspect. That's it. Because the jewels are the same color. The dress is the same color. The aesthetic of everything is the same. Except the lighting's different. The lighting's different, except this is more on a grand scale. The last one was more on a small little stage.
For instance, look at Krishnji. Look at his shawl. The details on it, it looks so 3D. The embellishment on it looks expensive.
It's bright. It's really, really bright.
And intentional. While look at what Ramji is wearing. Look at his heart. Look at his shawl.
Well, he looks like he's about to get some sleep. Why do you think he needs to wear all that all the time? I think this looks more practical. And above all, do you really think the experts and professionals involved in the making of this movie had no idea about this? You're making it look like you just discovered fire.
And look at Arjun, how princely and rich he looks.
I don't think that looks rich. I think he'd had a good time out in a San Francisco nightclub. I don't mean to do any insults. I don't mean to be insulting. But he looks like he had a good time at a San Francisco nightclub. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say.
And when I saw Kakai wearing sari like any modern day woman, I lost it because same age group, we had Gandhari here in Mahabharat. Look how she's dressed. Even in the scenes where Gandhari is not at the palace, she's in her bedroom. Look what she's wearing versus what Kakai is
Because that's what you're supposed to wear in a bedroom. Unless you're getting ready to go to some fancy dress competition.
wearing. Here's a little fun.
Like, the thing is, like, they are trying to make it more realistic when the show was supposed to be beyond belief. It was supposed to interpret like the scriptures as like this holier than thou. However, Ramayana, if I'm saying that correctly, what from my understanding is trying to make it more palatable for everyone. Like for everyone. Because most people prefer to dress in normal clothes than above and beyond. Above and beyond. That looks like stole from a museum. Museum. I guess.
That you wouldn't know at all is that these costumes in Mahabharat on Star Plus were created by Nidhi Yasha under the guidance of Bhanu Athaya, India's first ever Oscar-winning costume designer.
Amazing, amazing. Thanks for the fun fact. I have no idea who the costume designer of Ramayana is, but I believe they did a nice job.
Like, again, just because it's an award-winning costume designer doesn't mean that that costume is good to be correlated in a whole nother reinterpretation of the story, which is going to be done trying to make it, I guess, more palatable for the wider world. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think it's palatable. I think it's palatable.
Mahabharat on Star Plus really did their big one with the costumes and the styling and even a Bollywood film with a mega budget.
Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? Come on, pop up. I don't want to be that guy, but it's his nails. It's the nails. It's the nails. All he needs now is a freaking nose ring. Oh my gosh. Just the nails. You can tell the type of personality just by the nails. All Pepsi needed to do is just show his nails, and then we're like, oh, we know what we got here. Costumes on TV show are brighter because older TV screens are crappy and show contrast. Yeah, there is that too. There is absolutely that as well. I mean, I don't want to hurt anyone for wearing nails like this, but it kind of is revealing. A
Bollywood film with a mega budget in 2026 doesn't come close.
Again, that's your perspective. I get it, you have issues with the movie and you can point out the flaws. But don't try to impose your perspectives on others. Because in the long run, even if it doesn't exist, people will start believing it and then it ruins the whole experience. I guess that's why the director wants it to be global. Because I don't think the Indian audience will ever be satisfied.
Nope. Even like they really won't. There will always be people that will nitpick every little thing and never be happy.
2,000 years ago, people were missing the point of the Odyssey. That's the argument that Seneca, who's not just a Stoic philosopher, but a playwright himself, wanted us to understand how obnoxious and annoying it is that everyone is missing the point of the Odyssey. They were doing then what we are doing right now. He said that people get in these debates about where Odysseus got lost, about whether Penelope was faithful the whole time.
I think you have such people everywhere. They care too much about whether it actually happened, how it happened, when it happened, whether goddess Sita actually went through the Agni Pariksha.
Whether Homer was the first.
Like the thing is, I don't think there should be Africans. I don't think there should be Americans. I don't think there should be Europeans cast in in Ram's story. I really don't think there should be. Why? Because it's an Indian story, so it should have an Indian cast. Just like the Odyssey is a Greek story, it should have had primarily a Greek cast. Maybe some white people scattered in here and there, but it should have been predominantly Greek. It just makes sense. Because if you allow people to change the histories, because give it a few years and people will believe that Cleopatra was black. All it takes is 1 to 2 generations of retards for people to completely forget things. Only 1 to 2 generations. It doesn't take long. Eventually, we'll get to a point where so many people are fed up with the BS in history that there will be a point in time where people are creating history pieces where it was white people that were the slaves and black people were the slave owners. Like, it's gonna change the dynamic so much, and then 2 to 3 more generations and they'll believe that to be true. I mean, look how many generations it took just for people to forget the Holocaust. And now that social media is making people's minds rot so quickly and them not actually retain constant information, that they'll remember the thing that was shown in front of their face for a matter of seconds, and then they'll forget. Like, the long-term memory is pretty much lost. But yeah, I mean, I think we should remain faithful to the way stories were written and how they were written at the time. Like, you shouldn't go through and change some of the texts which were racist in books back in the day, because guess what? That's a product of its time. You shouldn't go back and change it. But like Huckleberry Finn, you should just leave those words in there. Don't change it. Leave it in there because it's an example of the time. You shouldn't rewrite it for a modern audience. No. If they just don't feel comfortable reading that language with how it was spoken back in the day, they just shouldn't read it. But we shouldn't rewrite history. We should never rewrite history. We should accept all the failings of the past and accept all the glories of the past. We should never rewrite history. Just own it all.
Of the great poets, whether Achilles was older than Patroclus. Seneca said, none of this matters, not even a little bit. He says, Homer isn't telling you about Odysseus's wandering. He's showing you how to stop wandering yourself. He says, the argument isn't about whether Penelope was pure. He says, teach me what purity actually means and how to live it.
That's true. Ramayana, Gita, Mahabharata, they aren't about them. They're about you. You worship Lord Ram as a god, but in the story, he is a human in the form of a god. He is you. Ram is you. He is different because not everyone can be the Maryada Purushottam Ram. It's the journey of finding the Ram inside you. Instead of focusing on the value, a lot of people tend to focus more on the mechanical aspects of the story.
Seneca is pushing back on all those pedantic, obnoxious English teachers, those classicists, for whom the geography, the timeline, the trivia is what matters. But that isn't what matters. The story of the Odyssey is what it's doing to you right now while you're reading it. Odysseus isn't some guy who gets lost in the Mediterranean. He's you right now getting knocked off course by something you didn't see coming. The monsters in the Odyssey are not literal monsters. They are parts of yourself. They are things out in the world that you are fighting. The sirens are the temptations you are facing in your life, the distractions, the things that are pulling you off the path that matters, that you're supposed to be on. The storms are setbacks. Ithaca is whatever you are trying to become, whatever destination you are trying to reach. Seneca is saying that memorizing the poem and breaking it down into little pieces isn't the point. The point is, what does it teach you? How does it change you? How does it make you braver? How does it make you craftier? How does it make you more cunning? How does it get you to face what you have been avoiding? How does it make you more loyal? How does it make you more determined? How does it make you a better host and a better guest? How is it pushing you to complete your own Odyssey?
Even if you make the most historically accurate depictions of these epics, but you don't deliver the value, the message, then what's the point of it? This isn't history class, this is art, which is supposed to be reinterpreted in multiple ways.
Every other culture is allowed cultural preservation, except for Western culture. That's the problem. At the time the Odyssey was written, there is no evidence that the ancient Greeks even knew that Indians existed.
Here are some other things that are historically inaccurate. Scandinavian Odysseus, Irish Telemachus, British Penelope. This guy. Funny how things are only a problem when black and brown people are involved, huh?
Or maybe the director did it intentionally, so that people have something to talk about. No publicity is bad publicity.
I don't think so. I really think he was just chasing another Oscar. That's where I'll disagree because, again, how would Pepziti feel if you changed all the cast in the Ramayana to Americans? Imagine the uproar. Honestly, it might be a comedy at that point, but just imagine the uproar, because the people would feel so betrayed. So betrayed. That's just how it works. You're watching a culture, a history, and the Iliad and the Odyssey are literally the quintessential cornerstones of all Western storytelling. All Western storytelling. It is known as the starting point of Western storytelling. Like, no matter what class you go through, no matter it, like, that is what it's known as. Same thing with like Journey to the West is considered like the quintessential Eastern storytelling kind of archetype. But Iliad and the Odyssey are the Western version, and they're trying to put in something completely different, and it's a piece of history. It literally is a piece of history. You don't want to have your demographics completely changed and it not be representative of the people of that history. Of the people of that history. The Greeks actually liked it. LMAO. I don't know. But that's the thing. It's just like, I think it should remain faithful to the source material. That's just how I feel. I think it's best to, like, Lord of the Rings should remain considerably white. The Narnia should remain considerably white. What is it? The Iliad and the Odyssey should remain considerably white. Journey to the West should be considerably Chinese. Just like the Ramayana should be considerably Indian. It just makes sense. It's that's the origin of the story. It should remain primarily that, or exclusively that demographic. It just makes sense. The movie about Gandhi from Hollywood, it had Gandhi played by white guy Ben Kingsley. Yeah, I still haven't seen that film. I want to watch it just because of Ben Kingsley, but Ben Kingsley isn't, he's Jewish? Yeah, he's Hebrew, I believe. He's Hebrew.
This is genius marketing. I believe it can draw people to theaters more than positive marketing. And who knows, maybe this is why they cast Ranbir Kapoor as Lord Ram.
The only casting decision in the movie The Odyssey that I cannot stand by is the Indian guy in the boat.
No, it's not the one. You have to hate them all or you hate none. That's it. You either hate them all or you hate none. I hate them all. I hate all the weird castings. I think all the weird castings don't belong there. But the fact that he's just targeting the one speaks volumes.
Okay, as a Greek person who has fought their entire life convincing people he's not Indian, Christopher Nolan, you've shit up for me. Okay, in one fell swoop, you told millions of people around the world that Greek people look Indian. In a movie that you casted very white-looking people in major roles, the one guy who actually looks like they might be Greek is an Indian.
So even he thought he's not doing himself any favors. He's not doing himself any favors. He's like, the one guy that looks Greek is Indian. Dude, you're not winning this argument. You're not winning this argument. You've just done and messed yourself up.
Dude, you couldn't have just taken a guy from Athens and just given him a few lines. Instead, you've taken my ethnic rival doppelganger and told everybody we look the same. You screwed me, Chris. You screwed me. It took me 20 years to convince people that Greeks could have had a non-extra role in the movie Troy, and you just undone all that work.
Because they know there would be two kinds of people. One who are there for the story and performances, and a bunch of self-proclaimed intellectuals obsessed with accuracy. Most of these historical accuracy-obsessed intellectuals, this word is so cringe now. They're not even from Greece. I mean,
True. That's how I am. I mean, I just don't believe we should be changing that stuff. I just don't believe so. It seems incredibly cruel, because at what point do we start believing our own interpretation of history instead of how the history originally came about?
who knows? Some of them can be from the Philippines, like this wannabe white supremacist. Now, a lot of people are also trying to draw parallels between the two movies. That the Odyssey is inspired by Ramayana. I didn't say this. It was said by French scholar Hippolyte Foch. Here are some of the common things between the two epics. The long journey. Ram faces a 14-year exile, while Odysseus takes 20 years to return home to Ithaca after the Trojan War. The faithful wife. Sita waits faithfully for Ram, while Penelope rejects numerous suitors pressing her for marriage during Odysseus' long absence. And the classic bow test. Ram proves his worth by stringing Lord Shiva's mighty bow at the Swayamvar, and Odysseus proves his identity at the climax of the Odyssey by stringing his own heavy legendary bow to slay the suitors. Now let's see how the Greeks, the inheritors of this great epic, have reacted to this movie.
But this time, the toughest critics were never in Hollywood, they were in Greece. The birthplace of one of the world's greatest stories. For nearly 3,000 years, the Odyssey has been a part of Greek life. It was written by the ancient poet Homer. Every child studies it in school. They probably imagine what they would have done in Odysseus' place. So, when Christopher Nolan decided to retell this ancient epic, Greeks had one big question. Did he get it right? He said people were judging the film before they had even seen it. Then, opening day arrived, and many Greeks left the cinemas impressed.
I think Nolan reintroduces us to the Odyssey, in his way, of course. I like the film, a very good film, because ancient mythology can be a bit kitsch, but I think this work is timely.
So basically, they're not disappointed with the movie. They had their concerns before the release of the movie, but now they look at it as a modern reinterpretation of the story, in Nolan's own style.
Nolan says every
Nolan's own
adaptation
style.
deserves its own voice.
We sort of realized that you just have to make the best film you can and put a strong interpretation, your interpretation on. And I think people who love the piece of literature, in this case the Odyssey, hopefully they enjoy the respect that we're showing.
Exactly. He did not intend to disrespect the Greek culture by his casting, by his costume, and his style. That's just his style of filmmaking. You may not like it, but it's loved by billions of people.
Many Greek scholars agree. They say myths survive because they keep changing. Every generation tells the story in its own way.
Reinterpretation, the reimagination, keeps vital this heritage over time. Otherwise, Greek mythology would be a mummy, a museum exhibit.
See, as I said, movies based on myths are not like history classes. You should go there mainly to see the vision of the filmmaker. There's a reason why there are so many different versions of Ramayana in Southeast Asia, East Asia, even within India. You should focus more on the intent of the artist. Everyone deserves a chance.
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna disagree, because again, I'm curious because they're showing only select few people that are in favor of the Odyssey film, and again, there are I need to check it out myself to get my own interpretation, because I read the Iliad and I read the Odyssey before they were rewritten. So I'm curious on what exactly has been changed other than the strange casting. And from what I understand is like most of the strange casting isn't even there for a long period of time. It's the fact that it's there as a representation of the culture of the time, when that isn't the culture of the time. I think it's also misleading people to believe that the cultures were as diverse as they are now. And that's still not the case. It's still not the case. They were incredibly white. They were incredibly black. They were incredibly brown. Not until the colonization periods where it started to get a little more integrated, or outright just expunging groups of people. But that's the thing. It's just like, I don't entirely agree. Like, I understand you should enjoy a film as it stands on its own. But for me, the Odyssey doesn't make the cut because it's already trying to reinterpret the demographic of the time. Like, that's like watching a movie on the Bible and they're all Americans. I guess it's the Mormon Bible at that point. It's the Book of Mormon. They're all American. It's just like, what? This doesn't feel right. Like, you would want the demographic to kind of match the tone, match the feeling. And from what I understand, it's like everyone loves the cinematography of it. Like, you can never go wrong with Christopher Nolan's cinematography. But for me, I've always had issues with his storytelling to begin with. And I'm more of I prefer storytelling over the visuals. Even though visuals are a key component, I can watch something awful and still enjoy things about it. But it's the story that really drives me, the story that brings me in. And as long as I can be brought into the story, and for me, since I read the Iliad and read the Odyssey, Helena Troy, well, that would throw me out in a second. A strong Greek general, which is Elliot Page, 5'0" that would throw me out immediately. Like, that's the thing. It's like there are aspects of it that are just a little off for me, just a little off. And again, I could it's like agreeing to disagree, because Pepsi just wants to watch things to enjoy them. But I would be curious on how he would feel when, well, they remake the same film in Hollywood with an all-white cast. It might change the vibe people have towards it. More unhappy vibe, even though the story would be probably same, close, or similar. It's still a little problematic for people. It's still a little problematic for people.
You guys got a video? So bad.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait on that.